We'll go ahead and get started this afternoon. I have a few housekeeping items to talk through before we get started with questions for Will Zalatoris. Before we begin, I'd like to let the Japanese media know that we have a translator on the line. Kosuke will translate for us. And so I'll begin with a few questions, and then I'll open it up to questions that Kosuke will translate. I'll ask the questions in English. So Will, everything that you report back and that you hear, you'll hear in English.
Perfect.
Any media, please just keep your microphone and your video off until you're called on to ask a question, and then you may come on video, turn on your microphone, ask your question, and Kosuke will translate. So to start, we'd like to congratulate Will on your trip out to the ZOZO Championship. But before we get started on that, we'd like to congratulate you once again on winning the 2020-2021 Rookie of the Year. Just thoughts on your season last year and your momentum coming into the 2021 season.
Yeah, thank you. Very wild year, to put it mildly, going from Korn Ferry to obviously being Rookie of the Year. I kind of, like I've said before, Rookie of the Year really wasn't even on my radar to start off the season, given that I thought I was going to have to spend 2 years on Korn Ferry. But it was a crazy, wild year. Obviously, the highlight being the Masters. I've always set goals for myself, and my goal for really this past year was to try to win 3 times on the Korn Ferry to get myself to the PGA Tour, and obviously I got to the PGA Tour a different route. So most of the time I don't really reach my goals in the timeline that I'd like, just because I set them so high, but it was nice to actually beat one for the first time really in my career.
Absolutely, and you touched on their Masters. I think a lot of people listening today would love to hear just your experience. Obviously, you finished second behind Hideki Matsuyama. Memories from that event from you?
Yeah, I mean, an absolute dream come true. There's little things that I think I'll remember for the rest of my life. I just kind of going from being kind of happy to be there to being in contention. I tried to give Hideki the best push I could, and obviously, he got me by 1, but still, his victory, especially obviously being in here, Japan, it was amazing for the game, especially on the world level. So for me personally, obviously, that was an incredible highlight, going from playing with Bernhard Langer and kind of talking to him about his career at the Masters, and then, really Hideki's historic win, to be a part of it and push him a little bit at the end there was a lot of fun.
Fantastic, and now we're here at the ZOZO Championship. The tournament returns to Asia. This is the first event the PGA Tour has been able to play in Asia since the pandemic, and this is your first time, correct, in Asia? So your excitement to be here, obviously a little bit restricted, but still an exciting accomplishment.
Yeah, I've always wanted to come to Japan. My fiance and I we've had this as number 1 on our bucket list of places to go. Obviously, I'd love to be able to get out and really see Tokyo, but obviously with COVID, it's a little bit of a bummer. But still, I went out and played all 18 today. The course is in incredible shape. I've heard from a lot of veterans that some of the best greens in the world are in Japan, and I saw that today especially. I mean, the place is flawless. I mean, walking onto the driving range, you could see how just perfect everything was manicured, and the greens are extremely fast, and some of us were making comparisons to Augusta, just given the slopes and how fast the greens were.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and open it to questions. Kosuke, if you could come on the line and translate and see if anybody has any questions, we'll get those translated for Will.
Oh, okay. So should I ask if anyone has any questions in Japanese? Would that be okay?
That would be great. Thank you.
それでは日本メディアの皆様、どなたか質問ありましたらお願いいたします。
Kosuke, if you could ask them to put their question in the chat.
Okay.
And you can translate. Thank you for your patience, Will.
チャットの方に質問がある方はそちらに質問を載せてください。お願いいたします。
While we wait for that, Will, you already touched on your thoughts on the golf course. You had a chance to play today. Anything further? Does this course set up to your style and what is suited to your game?
Yeah, it definitely does, or definitely fits me. I think that, the weather kind of reminds me of the Bay Area a little bit, where I was born in San Francisco. It's ball doesn't really go very far just because it's pretty heavy air. 50 to 60 degrees all week. We'll get a little rain, obviously, I think on Friday. But greens being super fast and a lot of slope obviously kind of fits into, like I said, it has some remnants of Augusta to it. There's some really long par fours, probably 4 or 5 holes today that I was hitting 6 through 4 iron in, and for being one of the longer guys out here, that definitely favors me. It's a really, really cool experience. It's kind of cool also playing a couple, or I guess number 5, we've got the 2 greens. The left side's a lot easier than the right side, at least from what I saw today, between the 2 greens. But it's a really, really cool golf course. I mean, I played 9 with Harry Higgs, and we were making comparisons to some other courses that we've played over in the States, and it was kind of fun kind of making a hodgepodge of comparisons from, we talked about Olympia Fields, Augusta. So obviously really cool to be able to play on a course like this where there's so many different comparisons, and we're taking the best of the states and putting it onto one golf course.
And obviously you've seen your playing partners for tomorrow in round 2, Carlos and Joaquin. Have you played with them before? I
have. I'm a member at Dallas National with Carlos. I've played a couple times with Joaquin. Thankfully, my Spanish is a lot better than my Japanese, so that'll be a lot of fun. They're great guys, so it'll be a fun couple days.
Awesome. Well, I'll see if Kosuke, any questions from Japanese media?
Not as of yet. I think we're fine on the Japanese side. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. And the last question, Will, for me, just your thoughts on what it would mean to win this early in the season, and what you would take away and your morale, all that could, cause for the rest of the season. Yeah,
and this is it'd be a huge momentum booster for sure. I've been playing some pretty solid golf. I've been a little sporadic. I think Mississippi kind of sums up kind of how I feel over the last couple of weeks, where, I kind of have 3 marginal days and then, throwing a 61 in there. So the good is definitely there for me to contend and win, especially to come here, first time to Asia, to get, hopefully get my first victory would be very cool. Especially with, Hideki being the reigning Masters champion, Tiger winning, to tie for the most wins in PGA Tour history. This is a really, really cool event, just to put it mildly. So, I'm looking forward to this week. I mean, this has been an event that I've been pretty excited about for a while, just given the fact that, I haven't been to Japan. I've always wanted to go to Japan. It was my number 1 country that I've wanted to come to for quite a while. So, a lot of excitement for me to come here this week.
Well, we're glad to have you. We'll let you go. Good luck this week.
Thanks.